Hey out there, this is Kevin Strong with Strong Jacobs and Associates, and today is Saturday, January 9th, 2021. And in this video, I want to talk about a disturbing thing that happened about foreclosures, and the situation was basically this. A SWAT team or team of SWAT officers was called out to remove this homeowner because when the sheriff showed up to remove him because of a lack of payment, basically he was foreclosed on. He racked a deadly weapon, and I think you know what I mean by that. So the sheriff backed out, and they had to call the SWAT. And I don't know if they got the guy out of the house or not. The reason why I'm bringing this to your attention, because this is an alarming thing that I think is going to become a little bit more frequent in this country because of the affordability factor. People are currently living in houses that they can't afford because of the higher prices. The prices continue to rise, not necessarily the value, but prices are being artificially pumped up. People don't have a place to go. People have been displaced because of their income. Wages have been cut. You name it. So when you're in the 11th hour and someone's actually physically moving you out of shelter and you don't have a B plan or a contingency plan, you may be relying on just about anything to preserve that shelter. So as this becomes more of a common thing nationally, once again, my analysis is that I think there's a possibility that we could get to a point where so many people are just going to extend this out until physically the sheriff shows up at their door, knocking on their door saying, hey, you have to leave. Or there's things like Chapter 13 or Chapter 7s. I mean, in certain states, like in the state of Washington, and I've talked about this, you can extend this thing out for almost 3 years before the lender can actually physically take possession of the property. So as long as we have an affordability crisis in this country, you're going to see people just playing this thing out until the 11th hour. This will further exacerbate the inventory levels that we currently are experiencing in the housing market, because houses won't become available for those who need it, because people will be holding on to these houses because simply they have nowhere to go. This is a national crisis. Once again, you know what I said in my other video, turn off CNN to the left, turn off Fox News to the right, and everything will be all right. You just have to just turn out this white noise. This is not helping when we as a country continue to be divisive, pointing on one side of the political aisle versus the other, right? And the people in power, that's how they stay in power, because we don't collectively stay together. So finally, I wanted to talk about taxes and some things people really don't realize. So when you have the person that you want in office and they talk about taxing the rich, and I talked about this in previous videos, if someone is proposing to raise the highest tax bracket from, let's say, 37% to 39.6, but your tax bracket isn't being cut, that does absolutely nothing for you. Another thing that's kind of like a false carrot is that a lot of times they say, oh, we're going to increase the standard deductions, we're going to increase child care credits, and all of these things that you don't get to experience until you file your tax returns. The irony of that is that most people set up their financial households based on family monthly debt obligations. You don't structure your finances based on when you get your tax returns. So every 2 weeks when you get your paycheck, if you don't see tax relief in that paycheck, that does absolutely nothing for you, waiting on some tax credit or some new standard deduction that you only get to take advantage of once a year. Most of us need some type of payday relief, not tax reduction relief, in the forms of increasing your chances of getting a higher tax refund. So I hope you found this video in a good place. You know my motto, please pay down your debt before your debt gets a hold of you, and my simple company tagline, consumer and business debt relief. And I'll see you guys in the next video.